Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this top 5 camp competition mega compilation. As the title suggests, I'm going to be getting all the old top 5 builds and putting them into, well, multiple big compilations. Let's get cracking.
This was a hard week for me to judge as there were so many great submissions, but we've only got 5 spots and so many wonderful camps, so if you didn't make it, don't feel bad, you were all spectacular in my book, but anyways, let's jump into that top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Thanatos Wolf with the Rooftop. This camp really is something else. It's hard to tell where the in-game assets stop and the camp decorations begin. There are so many little merges hidden in plain sight, while you take for granted that this was just something Bethesda had perhaps pre-built in the game. But in this case, it was all Thanatos and a myriad of build tricks that brought this build together. Great job. So how about you, TNG? What do you think?
Well, you know me, buddy. I absolutely love my scrappy builds. And like you say, Thanatos, he's absolutely nailed this one, hasn't he? It genuinely looks like something you would find in a wasteland. You know, scrappy little settlement that's used existing buildings as its basis. And I must say, this location, guys, is easily one of the best in the game. There's so much you can do with it. Anyhow, I'll pass you back to Stole Your Sweet Roll.
Up next, at number 4, is Lady H with her glitch-free Beckley settlement. After becoming no stranger to exploits and glitches to get my camps built for so long, it was refreshing to see someone build as the good Lord Todd Howard intended. By the book. These aren't bugs, they're features. And features, my dear, is what you brought to this camp. Never have I seen snapping points and no collision issues look so good. Good job, Lady H. So, what's your take on this one, TNG?
You know what, mate? I'm actually really surprised about this one. There's not many camps you see these days that are built without using glitches. It's kind of become part of the game, if we're being honest. So like you say, mate, when you see a camp that's been built using no glitches whatsoever, it is bloody refreshing. It's nice to see. Kind of reminds me of the early days of 76 when the building tricks weren't quite as well known. Lady H, you've absolutely smashed this one. It looks absolutely incredible, and the fact you've used no glitches just makes it that little bit more special. Congratulations.
At number 3, we've got Moonlight Cowboy with his Office of the Governor. Now, besides the fact that I have no idea how you got up there, I've got 2 things to say. Floating camps are hard, but floating camps around pre-existing structures are even harder. The way you blended this build around the top of the Capitol building is clean. Looking at the inside, I can't even begin to understand how you brought all of this together. Absolutely stellar work. You're a real sadist subjecting yourself to this punishment, and I applaud you for it. Great work. What stands out to you, TNG?
Quite simply, Sweet Roll, the sheer amount of masochism this must have taken to build. It looks like multiple penis cakes rolled into one. Now, I have seen Moonlight build in Charleston before, on top of rooftops as well, but not on this particular building. And let me tell you, that build was very bloody impressive. But as you say, mate, this is just so bloody clean. Very nice work indeed. Hats off to your meat.
Moving on to number 2, I chose Goldfinger 76 and his Addams Family Mansion. Though this build was decorated in Custom World, the structure was built exclusively in Adventure. And what a structure it is. You absolutely nailed the look of the Addams Family home, and I'm sure this is the build everyone had in mind when that build set dropped, and you pulled it off immaculately. Sometimes we have to put the vision ahead of the budget restrictions, and I'm glad you decided to furnish in custom instead of compromising your design to make it all fit in Adventure. Great job. What do you think of this one, TNG?
Well, first up, on this week's episode of films that TNG has never seen, the Addams Family, yeah, that's on there as well. So I can't say how it compares to the movie or TV series building, but what I can say is if you ask me to describe a typical haunted house, then yeah, this is pretty much what I'd go for. Top work as ever, Goldfinger. Nice one.
So, before we get on to number 1, I gotta make you wait, per the rules, because it's time for that little thing we call Honorable Mentions.
You nailed it, buddy. You nailed it.
And this week's mention goes to 2 builders. First, Neener Alabaster with your lovely tribute to the Vanta Black counters. I love a good joke poked in Bethesda's direction when they manage to mess something up in camps. And your Glitch Odyssey build really tickled my funny bone. I really appreciated that one. Second, there's Only Psy with his Apartment 11A build. The way you took this ruined building and you remodeled this pre-existing structure into this really, really clean build was absolutely amazing. Even with the relaxed restrictions in custom worlds, I know this couldn't have been easy, so great job. So, on to number 1. Who is it? Well, it's Nuck's Blackthumb with the Raider's Cave. The mood, the lighting, the location, the merging, the structure, the theme, and cinematography. Need I say more? This camp has everything going for it, and it is just stellar all around. I love the pet Deathclaw out front, by the way, and the throne. Really well done. If I could speculate, I'd say this took a good amount of time to bring together, especially in the location you chose to build in. I've never personally had much luck building up against rocks, caves, and cliff faces, yet you've managed to pull off an immaculate Raider-inspired camp here. Hats off to you, and a well-deserved number 1 from me. And with that, I just want to say thank you again and pass it back to TNG. Great job, everyone.
In the number 5 spot, we have Stole Your Goddamn Sweet Roll. Yep, no idea what that was, but anyhow, yeah, we've got Stole Your Sweet Roll with his modern lakeside townhouse, and as with all Sweet Roll builds, it's absolutely next level. Now, I've known Sweet Roll for a few years now, and the amount of attention that he puts into his builds is phenomenal, honestly, where most of us would just say, yep, that'll do. He'll spend bloody hours trying to work out solutions, so the result is, well, absolutely perfect, or as close to that as it can be. Masochist. Now, if we just take a look at this build, you'll notice straight away that the roof pieces, there's some trickery going on up there. And let me tell you guys, many roof pieces were harmed in making that. The flamethrower trap would have been, you know, working overtime. And look at that, it's even got extra levels of roof pieces. Jesus Christ, there's some work got into this. Fair play, Sweet Roll. The trickery doesn't stop with the exterior either. The inside is exactly the same. And I mean, take a look at that hob. Bloody hell, that's ingenuity. I mean, Jesus Christ, every week I say modern homes aren't as easy to decorate as scruffy ones, but I'm starting to change my mind. And look at that as well, a shelf made out of benches. That's clever as shit, that is. Everywhere you look on this build, whether it be the inside or the outside, you see another build trick, and it all comes together to make this fantastic creation. Sweet Roll, another fantastic build as ever, pal. You've done a really good job on this one, mate. Thank you very much for entering, buddy, and congratulations on the number 5 spot. Very well done. Now, before we get to the number 4 spot, I'd like to make you all aware that your judge this week is Thanatos Wolf. And if you saw last week's top 5 competition, yeah, you would have seen some of his work in there. Now, every judge I get in on this competition deserves so much more. So please, guys, if you could go over to his channel and show him some love, it would be much appreciated. I've also got a little message that Thanatos would like me to share with all the entrants this week. That's coming at the end of the video. Anyhow, back to the top 5. In the number 4 spot this week, we have Moonlight Cowboy with his modern rose build. And I mean, come on, look at it. That looks like a kick in the penis to build. Truth be told, I know it's a kick in the penis to build up there because I've tried it. I give up within about, 5 minutes. Now, I don't know what it is about Moonlight, but he seems to choose the most awkward bloody buildings you could possibly want to build in, and then just absolutely sends it with no regrets whatsoever. And they always come out bloody fantastic. What makes these kind of builds even more impressive, in my opinion at least, is the fact that they're done in adventure mode. What's equally impressive as well is how you manage to get the builds to fit around the structure perfectly, whether it be a circle or a bloody square. It's just so bloody clean. Moonlight, thank you again for entering this week, buddy, and congratulations on the number 4 spot. Very well done. Coming in at number 3, we have Little Peddler with a EL7 gold boat build, and I absolutely love it, guys. Got some proper Lonely Island vibes going down here. Anyway, now Little Peddler has been playing this game for as long as I can remember, at least, anyway. I don't know if you remember Little Peddler, but I once stopped by your camp around, oh god, it must have been 2 years ago now. And I must say, it's nice to see somebody still playing the game after all this time and still building. Gives me a little bit of hope that there is some life left in it. Anyway, this boat is absolutely top notch, and it's nice to see one that has a different style of bow. Now, you'll know I have an unhealthy obsession with pointy bows. I don't know why, but this one is a totally different style. I don't actually know the type of name for this boat. Is it a skiff? I have no idea. I'm thick, and that's with 2 C's. Either way, it looks bloody spot on. Now, this one kind of reminds me of a police boat slash naval boat, Coast Guardy thing. 3 different descriptions in one there, but never mind. But obviously, it's got a bit of a modern house kind of twist on it as well. It's a really strange combination, but I do like it. Now, I've said it 87,000 times before, building on water poses its own challenges, and while this one doesn't have that complicated front end on it, you can tell that a lot of effort and a lot of time's been put into this, and I can appreciate that. Little Peddler, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 3 spot. And again, it's really nice to see you still building and enjoying the game. So how are you liking the build so far, guys? Personally, I'm absolutely loving them. It's a really good week this week. But I'm guessing there's some of you in the comments that think, you know what, my builds are better than all of these that I've seen. In fact, I know there's some of you that think that because I've seen the bloody comments. What I've not seen is you uploading your builds into my Discord. The link's in the description. If you think that you can do better, have a go. You may end up in top 5, who knows. And for the more civilized people of the YouTube community, if you want to submit your camps, follow the link in the description and you'll see it in the Discord. Anyhow, back to the top 5. In the number 2 spot, we have Milnet with his taxidermy build. And if you know Milnet, you'll know that this guy is the master of immersive builds. Let me tell you. Now, Thanos tells me that this camp gives him a House of 1,000 Corpses vibes, and if there is a basement, he wouldn't want to enter it. And I happen to agree, judging by the exterior. Put it this way, I'd sooner enter Joseph Fritzl's basement, and that's saying something. YouTube demonetization in 3, 2. From the outside, this looks spooky as holy hell, Milnet. Let's have a look at what you've done on interior. You know what, mate? I'm actually surprised it doesn't look half as terrifying as the outside, but it still has your trademark cluttered up look. I've said it before, Milnet, you're one of my favourites when it comes down to making a build look lived in and, well, just full of shit, which is really important on lore-friendly builds. And again, mate, you've nailed it. You've absolutely smashed it. I think my favourite part, though, is the garage. You know, I like how you put the conduits on the floor to replicate tools or a car part. And it's about goddamn time they actually added buildable cars as well. So fair play to Bethesda for, you know, including them. They're a damn sight more interesting than this year's roadmap at least. Anyhow, yet again, Milnet, you've knocked it out the park with this one, and congratulations on the number 2 spot. Thank you very much for entering this week, buddy, and hats off to your meat. Now then, who's got the number 1 spot this week? I don't know. I didn't choose. I'm looking at the same thing as you are. However, before we unravel this mystery, we're going to have to take a look at this week's honourable mentions. And this week, I was feeling generous, so we've actually got 2 honourable mentions. Let's take a look at them. The first one is Fuzzbrain's Collapse Mine Camp, and let me tell you, immersion levels on this are through the bloody roof. I don't think I've ever seen a camp that fits in this well with the environment, and I genuinely mean that. It looks like a game asset. Fuzzbrain, amazing work on this one, pal. Very bloody impressive. And guys, there is a tutorial on this as well. Follow the link in description and it'll take you to it. The second honourable mention is Goldfinger with his Dame Shirley Bassey tribute camp. What a strange subject to build on, buddy. I mean, it's different. Fair play to you for, you know, thinking outside the box, but it is an odd choice. Shirley Bassey and the Wastelander, not 2 things that I put together, but either way, you've done a fantastic job on this one, man. I think my favourite part of all of this build is quite literally the waterbed. That's a pretty cool looking bedroom, that is. Although, would I like to sleep in it? Probably not. I'd get the feeling that I was, you know, pissing myself all the time, but that's fine, I guess. And as with every Goldfinger build, guys, the editing on it is absolutely top notch. Really good work on this one, Goldfinger, and congratulations on an honourable mention. Top effort. Right then, so now it's time to find out who's in the number 1 spot. Like I said, there's been a load of decent entries this week, but there can be only one winner. And this week, it's Galactic builds with the Moonlit Hideaway. And guys, this looks absolutely gorgeous. The colours on it just stand out like a sore thumb, and I absolutely bloody love it. It's the kind of camp that makes the Maya an actual desirable place to live, and I bloody hate the place, so top marks on that one. On the exterior, Galactic's used some pretty cool little building tricks, the walls being at custom heights, for example. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, that's not something that I've ever really delved into, but I believe it involves raising the foundation up, burning the wall, and then lowering it back down to fit a wall in underneath it. Does that make any sense? No, probably doesn't. It's a fiddly little thing to do, is what I'm trying to tell you. The interior is just as well put together, and the lighting, that absolutely makes this build, in my opinion. There is actually some channel out there that does a lighting tutorial, but I can't remember who it is, but it's a decent watch. Anyhow, I digress. This build is quite simply beautiful, Galactic. Like I said, I love the lighting, and I love the overall look of it. Thanatos actually said, even though it's quite a clean build, it doesn't look like it shouldn't belong there, if that makes any sense. And I can see what he means by it. It's not quite a modern build, but it is in some ways. I don't know. It's quite it's an odd mixture of styles, this one. Either way though, Galactic, you've absolutely nailed it. Spot on, and congratulations on number 1 spot, mate. Very well deserved. And thank you very much for entering. And thank you to everyone else who has entered this week as well. You've all done a brilliant job. And always remember, it's you guys keeping the camp building alive in this game. So fair play to you. In the number 5 spot, we have Hitbit with the old woman in a shoe build, and this one's bloody unique. I love it. What I also bloody love is the way that it were filmed, and let me tell you, the music had me doing things I shouldn't really be doing at 12 AM. Yeah! Nope, I don't think I should be doing that at any point of the day. Anyhow, this camp is actually quite complicated when you start looking at it. Take, for example, the little hexagonal bit at the back there. I'm sure I've mentioned it 87,000 times before, but you can't just plop that down on the floor and hope for the best. That's some blueprint shit going down right there. Even the roof pieces have required, you know, a little bit of work to get right as well. I imagine many of them were sacrificed to the Lord of the Flame, also known as the Bernie Boy. Yeah, this camp's taken quite a bit of work to get right, and let's be honest with ourselves, it looks like a shoe, doesn't it? Aye, good effort. The interior is just as well done as the outside. It looks like a mishmash of a load of different styles, which is kind of what you'd expect to see in a wasteland, you know, just loads of shit thrown together and just people making the best of what they've got. Aye, I really do like where you've gone with this one, Hitbit. A shoe in the wasteland, which is also slightly immersive. Who would have thunk it? All in all, absolutely fantastic bloody job you've done here. And again, like I said, guys, the filming and the music to this video was, you know, it was spot on. Congratulations on the number 5 spot, Hitbit, and thank you very much for entering this week. Now then, just before we get to the number 4 spot, I want to make you aware that the judge this week is tailor-made. Now, this gentleman, nay, this legend, has been one of the strongest supporters of the channel. He really is a decent guy, ladies and gentlemen, and he's a fantastic builder as well. If you could go over to his channel and show him some love, that would be very much appreciated. Anyhow, back to the top 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Yeah Bear with the stone bridge bungalows, and this is absolutely beautiful. Just take a look at it, guys. I mean, come on, just look at that stone bridge. I mean, it's evident there was one, considering the name of the build, but even so, it's bloody well put together, is what I'm trying to say. Those wavy Willards boulders are quite simple to put together, but to actually make them look like a structure, that's the trick. You know, you can quite easily stack them on top of each other and make something out of them, but to actually get a shape out of them and make them a little bit more refined, yeah, it's quite difficult. But yeah, Bear, you've smashed it. That is absolutely stunning work there, and I bet it took a lot of bloody persistence, so hats off to you, mate. Now, the bungalows themselves are quite simple. Yes, we've got more blueprint work going on here, but it's nothing too, you know, over the top. Personally, I think it gives it a bit of a handmade, rustic kind of look. I think I know what I'm on about. Nope, I really don't. You know what? Sometimes I listen to myself and I think I sound like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen if he had a stroke. All in all, yeah, Bear, the work that you've done here is absolutely fantastic. That bridge is, mwah, chef's kiss. Really nice job on that. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 4 spot. In the number 3 spot, we have the Discord Queen and my favourite Australian. It's Reasonable Madness with the Cozy Flatwoods Bakery. And Madness, let me just say, you have absolutely knocked this one out of the park. It does look like something you'd see in a little countryside village somewhere. Properly immersive bloody build. You've even got underpinnings, and let's face it, underpinnings are the underpinning of a build. Yeah, the interior is just as impressive as the exterior. I love that little raised area you've got going on up there. Let me tell you guys, that's something that I've tried personally many times, and I've always failed, but Madness, she's absolutely nailed it. We've also got a shit ton of attention to detail as well. All the little merges that are going down. Just look at them cakes in the window. I do believe they're made out of stools, but I could be wrong. I often am. Just ask me wife. Madness, as ever, this build is absolutely incredible. The attention to detail that you put into every single one of your builds is absolutely mind-blowing. The dedication and masochism levels are just off the charts. Madness, thank you very much for entering this week, and massive congratulations on the number 3 spot. Right then, how the hell are you liking the camp so far? Personally, as always, I'm bloody loving them, but I'm betting there's some of you in the comments who are thinking, oh, my camps are better than that, I could beat all of them. Well, yeah. Perhaps you could, but there's only one way to find out, isn't there? And that's by submitting them. You can do that by checking the description of this video. You'll see a link to my Discord, and from there it's, you know, pretty self-explanatory. So come on, let's see what you got. Head on over there and show me what the bloody hell you can build. Anyhow, back to the top 5. In the number 2 spot this week, we have our old friend Moonlight Cowboy with another masochism rage-inducing build. I honestly don't know how you keep putting yourself through this week in and week out. I would have, you know, thrown my controller out at window many days ago. Now, this structure is quite striking, I think the word is. I'm not even going to pretend to know how you've done this, especially with it being, you know, 87 million feet up in the air. And to be honest, mate, I don't want to know, because if I actually had any inkling on how to do it, I would want to go and try it for myself, and I'd rage quit within about 2 seconds. Honestly, buddy, your dedication to these weird and wonderful builds in stupidly inaccessible areas is commendable. You know, they are really impressive. I will say the interior on this one is by far the best one you've, you know, submitted. I love some of the simple little merges you've got going down. There's not too many of them, but they are very effective. But my favourite piece of all of it is the fact that what the bloody hell's it called? Bloody pylon. That's the word. We got there eventually. Ah, yeah, the pylon is on show inside of the build itself. The beams just give it a kind of modern architecture kind of feel. And it does fit in well with the theme of the build. Once again, Moonlight, another bloody fantastic entry, and congratulations on the number 2 spot. Very well deserved indeed. Now then, who's got the number 1 spot this week? As you've seen from this video, there's been some stiff competition, not to mention the camp builds. However, I'm going to have to keep you waiting for just a little bit longer, because it's time for the honourable mention section. Yes, and this week it was very bloody close. However, this time it's going to go to Twisted Rose with the contemporary to modern camp build. Now, there's a very good reason for this. I like the fact that Twisted Rose has taken an old school build that she did many moons ago, i.e. it didn't have all of the more recent merge glitches on it. It was a properly, you know, OG kind of Fallout camp. Anyhow, she's taken that old design and she's revamped it into this modern beauty you see here. Now, I love looking at old work and improving on it, and she has 110% done it for this one. Twisted, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the honourable mention. Now then, who has got the number 1 spot? Every single entry this week has been incredible, but there can be only one winner. And this time round it is Lady H with the Wrath City camp. And guys, let me tell you, if immersion's your thing, then this one must be doing it for you. Now, Taylor said to me that this looks like something the Wastelanders would 110% throw together, and I have to agree with him. Like I said, guys, this is so bloody immersive, it's unreal. Everything from the materials used to build it, to its layout, and all the clutter that's just knocking around everywhere. Yeah, this is 100% post-apocalyptic. And just cast your peepers on some of these merges. They are so bloody ingenuitive. The way that you made the engines and whatnot. Now, in my opinion, these are assets that should be in the game. You know, just general shit that you can throw around. However, they're not, are they? And it's very unlikely that they are going to be added to the game. So, when people actually use the noggins and come up with shit like this, yeah, it's bloody impressive. And love or hate mergy camps, you know, you've got to appreciate the work that goes into them. Honestly, Lady H, the thought process behind this and the way you've implemented it is absolutely stellar, to steal some of Sweet Roll's phrases. Everything about it just looks like it should be there, and that is no easy task to achieve, believe me. Scrappy and immersive builds are bloody difficult. I've said it before, and I'll no doubt say it again. Lady H, congratulations on the number 1 spot. Very well deserved, and thank you so much for sharing this with us. In the number 5 spot this week, we have Lady H with the Survivor's House. And guys, come on. This is one of the most immersive builds I have ever bloody seen. It looks like a proper wasteland homestead, doesn't it? I like everything about the exterior of this thing. And my favourite bit is the little offset roof piece in the middle there. You know, the little triangle bit above the porch. Now, that may look quite simple to do, but you can't just place it down. There's been some work with catwalks going on there. It's yet another perfect example of items being used for, well, not their intended purpose. Now, the Wastelander theme carries on over to the inside as well. And while it, does look nice and clean and tidy, it does have that scrappy feel about it, like it's been neglected after the bombs have dropped. And who can blame him? I mean, if I'd just witnessed a nuclear genocide, my first thought wouldn't be, I know, let's go and do some cleaning up. Unless I've been on crystal meth, but anyhow. Lady H, I absolutely love this build. It's immersive, it's scrappy, and as ever, your attention to detail is top notch. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 5 spot. Very well deserved. Right then, so before we see the number 4 spot, I've just got to make you aware that the judge this week is Moonlight Cowboy. Christ only knows what that accent was, but we're just going to roll with it. Now, most of you all know that Moonlight is a fantastic builder, but he's also a masochist as well. When I asked him to judge this week, he came back to me with a score chart that he'd made. I mean, that's dedication, that is. But anyway, guys, if you could go over to his channel, show him some love, I'm sure that would be much appreciated. Anyhow, back to the top 5. Now, coming in at number 4, we have a new entrant to the competition. It's Ruby Ranger with the modern cliffside house. And this is quite simply beautiful. Say what you want about modern houses, but they are bloody striking to look at. Now, on the exterior, it's been very well put together, as you can quite clearly see, and there is quite a few cool little details on it. For example, take a look at them glass walls there, how they've been overlapped. Now, I could be wrong, I quite often am, unfortunately, but I think that's been done to give the effect of a sliding door. Like I say, I could be wrong on this one. Let me know down in comments, Ruby. As well as the sliding doors, we've got some more offset walls going on down here. Again, that's been done using catwalks. Yeah, all in all, an absolutely fantastic looking build from the outside. Let's take a look at interior. Yep, simply lovely. We've got quite a few merges going down, but for the whole, it's actually quite simplistic. Aye, I like what you've done with this one, Ruby. Congratulations on the number 4 spot, very well deserved, and thank you for entering this week. I do hope to see some more builds from you. In the number 3 spot this week, we have our old friend Goldfinger with the Cabaret Le Foule Bill, I can't speak French, I'm sorry. I usually just let the funky music do the talking. Anyhow, where was I? Ah, yeah, Goldfinger's build. Now, from the outside, to me at least, and bear in mind I've never been to America before I say this, it looks like some old downtown city bar building thing. You know what I'm on about, don't you? With stairs up the side of them. Nope, you probably don't, but that's absolutely fine. We'll just crack on. The inside of this build is where it really shines, though. I mean, just take a look at it. It looks like an old buddy theatre. And the way that it's incorporated the bridge into the build is quite clever, actually. By the way, it's, built under a bridge. Honestly, the more you take a look around this build, the more details you see. Now, if you've been unlucky enough to have been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I love theme builds. And Goldfinger, this is probably one of my favourite builds of that category that I've ever seen. You've absolutely smashed it, mate. Goldfinger, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 3 spot. Very well buddy deserved. Right then, so how are you liking the build so far? Personally, as ever, I'm absolutely bloody loving these. But I know there's going to be some of you watching thinking, you know what, I could do better than that. Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? And that's by joining my Discord, you'll find a link in description, and submitting your buddy camps. Now, after last week's video, there was a massive influx of people wanting to take part in the competition, so come along and join them, show me what you've got. The more builds, the better. Anyhow, on to the number 2 spot. And this week, it's the Master of Immersion, it's Milnet, ladies and gentlemen, with the Scrapyard Camp, or to all my American viewers, the Junkyard Camp, yeah! Now, there was a time where you couldn't actually build a camp in this spot, but I think it were about 2 years ago now, Bethesda actually unlocked it for us, which is nice of them, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. Now, as I mentioned before, Milnet is the Master of Immersion, and this camp's no different. I'm getting a Hoarder kind of vibe off this one. Yeah, definitely a Mr. Trebus wannabe lives here. We've got a nice little central building going on over here, and then all around it is just an immense amount of crap. And regular viewers, you know what I'm going to say here, don't you? In my opinion, it's much easier to decorate a clean build than it is to decorate a scrappy build. Sure, it's easy enough to throw down a load of shit and call it done, but to get all that stuff placed together and looking, well, like it should be there, is actually quite difficult. And Milnet, you've absolutely smashed this one, pal. Congratulations on the number 2 spot, and thank you very much for entering entering this week. Right then, so who's in the number 1 spot? There's been a lot of entries this week. It's been a tough competition, but there can only be one winner. And unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to keep you waiting for just a little bit longer because it's time for the Honourable Mention section. Yes, and this week I was feeling extra generous, so we've got 2 Honourable Mentions. And coming up first, we have Nuck with the Cliffside Industrial Studio. And guys, I'm absolutely loving the shape of this one. We've got a shit ton of slopiness going on. Not only is it easy on the eye, but it's extremely good for water runoff as well, because that'd be a main concern in a ways. Anyhow, now the inside is quite different to the outside in my opinion. Yes, it's got some clean parts to it, but it also does have a few scrappy bits as well. It's a nice little mix between clean and immersive. I like it. Nuck, congratulations on the Honourable Mention. Now for our second Honourable Mention, we have Twisted Rose with the Settlers Market Camp. And Ali goddamn you, somebody has finally built at this location. It's an absolute stunner, but I never see anybody building here. Why? You've got all these cool market stalls and stuff. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, thank you Twisted for finally showing the potential of this space. I absolutely love the build that you've done here. The little shop part is my personal favourite, I must say. You got all the shelves there stacked up with shit to sell. Yeah, I absolutely love that kind of stuff. Twisted, this is an absolutely fantastic build. It's scrappy, it's immersive, and it's using a really good camp location. Fair play to you. Congratulations on the Honourable Mention, and thank you very much for entering this week. Right then, so it's number 1 spot time, and who do you think's got it this week? Like I said before, guys, it's been a bloody difficult one, and there's been a shit ton of entries. But the winner this week is TX Chick with the camp build number 19. Simply lovely. Now, there's a few standout points that Moonlight shared with me. One of them is the pathway. And I have to agree, that's really cleverly done. Some may even say ingenuitive. And the best thing about this pathway, TX actually shows you how to build it if you want to, you know, do one for yourself. Moonlight also told me that he really loves the split level entrance and all the merges that you put in here, especially with the kitchen. And yeah, I mean, look at it. That's, you know, you've put some effort into that, TX. I imagine you put a lot of time and thought into this build, and it really does show in the end result. Personally, my favourite thing about this camp is the shape of it. It's quite, you know, unusual, but not stupidly overdone. It looks, what's the best word for it? Functional. Yeah, we'll go with that. Now, before we wrap this up, I just want to make you all aware that TX also does her own camp showcases. Now, I'm not 100% sure how you go about entering your builds into them or, you know, taking part in it. So please, TX, let us all know down in the comments. The number 5 spot this week, we have Goldfinger with the Survivor Camp, and first off, he's dedicated this build to all people suffering with cancer, so you know what, fair play to you on that one, pal. Now then, I absolutely love it when people use pre-existing structures and vehicles to, you know, make camps in, because let's face it, if you'd survived a nuclear bomb, you wouldn't be going asking the local builders for throw up a cheap semi-detached, would you? Nah, would you buddy hell like, you'd use what you had. I think my favourite part about the whole exterior is how Goldie's actually built onto the boss. He's not just filled the interior full of shit and called it done, he's made it his own. And the end result is simply lovely. Very immersive and extremely scrappy looking. I like it. The interior's no different either, guys. Again, it follows that scrappy immersive feel, and overall, I think it complements the build really nicely. Goldfinger, thank you very much for entering this week, pal. As ever, your videos are really well filmed, the build is absolutely incredible, and you're more than deserving of the number 5 spot. Vielen Dank, mein Freund, dein Lager ist sehr gut, and my German is absolutely terrible. Anyway, just before we get to the number 4 spot, I want to make you aware that your judge this week is only Sai. Now then, this guy does some fantastic builds. You may have seen some of them featured in the competition before. And like I say with all our guest judges, if you could head over to his channel and show him some love, I'm sure that'd be much appreciated. Anyhow, on to the number 4 spot. And this week we have a new entrant to the competition. It's Wastelander 84 with the Home of the Treasure Hunter camp. And guys, I know what you're thinking. TNG, this can't have been built in adventure mode, but guess what? It has. Now, as I've said 27,682 times, I love immersive builds, and this one is just, you know, it hits the nail on the bloody head. Everything from the location to the design of the camp, yeah, it's absolutely spot on and in keeping with the, well, the Fallout world, I guess. Now, I'm not even going to start to try and explain how this camp was done, because I don't know. I'm trying to look for stairs to the floors that are down. I can't see them. Now, you can achieve this effect with catwalks, but usually the stairs are left in place. And like I say, I can't see them. So yeah, guys, your guess is as good as mine. Either way, it looks bloody cool, doesn't it? I think my favourite thing about it on the exterior, other than the prefab trailer that you've somehow shoehorned in there, that's, you know, quite impressive, is the little platform that you've got down there with a Brahmin ride on it. You know, like it's been hung up by the bridge. I love that kind of thing. I have no idea why, it just, you know, always stands out to me. Now onto the interior, and this place is absolutely filled to the rafters with shit. It looks like a pensioner's mantelpiece, and in my opinion, that's how scrappy and immersive builds should look. Although I think it would be pretty incredible to see a scrappy looking camp with a split mint clean interior. You know, like the Fallout version of a patinaed car. Anyhow, I digress. Wastelander, this build is absolutely stunning. I have no idea how you've managed to shoehorn some of the bits in there. It is very impressive, like I said. Fantastic job all round, mate. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 4 spot. Again, very well deserved. In the number 3 spot this week, we have yet another scrappy and immersive build. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Milnet 1983 with the reclaimed home camp. No idea why I said the 1983 bit there, but we'll just gloss over it. Now, as soon as I saw this camp, I was getting Walking Dead vibes. Now, just bear with me a second. I am going somewhere with this. Do you remember the first couple of episodes of The Walking Dead, and they went to that guy's ranch? I can't remember his bloody name, but it was an old bastard with a shotgun. Anyhow, this camp, for some reason, reminded me of that. I don't know why, guys. It's just what I thought. Now, like most of Milney's other builds, this one is, like I say, scrappy and immersive, and it does fit in with the wasteland absolutely perfectly. And I think he's achieved this by keeping it, you know, quite simple. There's nothing too extravagant about it, which isn't a bad thing. I like a mad as shit house as much as the next guy, but sometimes it is nice to see a more simple build. Now, the interior is very much like the exterior. It's nice and filled up with a huge assortment of crap, but it's been well thought out. You can tell Milney's sat there and thought, right, would that look decent there, or would it look awful? And you know, I like that attention to detail. We've also got quite a few cheeky little merges going down as well, which again is a nice touch. Milnet, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 3 spot. Hats off to you, mate. Now then, how are you buggers liking the camps this week? As always, I bloody love them, but I know there's got to be some of you thinking my camp could have easily made it into the top 5 this week. Well, that may be so, but I have one question for you. Why the bloody hell isn't it here? You're not gonna get in if you don't bloody enter, for God's sake. So if you're feeling a little bit spicy, head into the description of this video, you'll see a link to my Discord, and in there, you can submit your builds, and who knows, you may get in next week's top 5. So come on, join the Discord and show me what you've bloody got. The more camps the merrier. Anyhow, back to the top 5. In the number 2 spot this week, we have our old friend Moonlight Cowboy with the Estuary Estate. Did I say that right? Estuary? I don't know. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Moonlight is the master of masochism. He must literally whip himself while he's building, which in this case doesn't look like a bad thing. I mean, just take a look at this, guys. How has he managed to fit all this stuff under a bloody bridge? Honestly, he must have had more clipping issues than a song downloaded from LimeWire, circa 2005. Despite the obvious challenges that this location must have thrown at him though, he's overcome it, and just look at it. Everything fits just, well, perfectly. He's even got a bloody skylight. How has he managed to clip that into the bridge? I don't know. I honestly do not know. I would have thought that would have been collision central. Somehow he's managed it though, and the overall effect is absolutely stunning. And the interior as well. Look how he's incorporated the bridge into certain elements of it. That kitchen area, for example, it looks like somebody's built a bar in an old cellar somewhere. Seriously, Moonlight, this is one of my favourite builds that I've seen from yourself, and it's pretty sweet that you're moving away from the, you know, up structures. As much as I like them, it is nice to have a change every now and again. You've absolutely nailed this one, bro. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 2 spot. Keep them coming, mate. Keep them coming. Right then, so who has made it into the number 1 spot this week? The competition's been tough, as you've seen from these other entries. And trust me guys, some of the submissions in Discord were just, you know, they were next level. I can't even begin to think how much trouble Onwisai had, judging these. However, before we announce this week's winner, it's time for that little thing called the Honourable Mention section. Yes, and this week again, I were feeling generous. What can I say? We've got two. And the first one is another new entrant to the competition, the Fallout 76 Camp Guy, with the Cyberpunk apartment. Now guys, yes, this is a custom world build, but you still got to appreciate the work that's gone into it. I mean, take a look at the lighting, for example. It does give you that cyberpunky, futuristic kind of vibe, I guess, and that balcony there, yeah, that's a nice little touch, that is. And look at the location as well. It looks like some modern city, to be honest with you. All the billboards everywhere. I know what I'm trying to say anyhow. Thank you very much for entering this week, mate, and congratulations on the honourable mention. Nice job. Now, our second honourable mention goes to Vix with this modern house build here. And guys, it's absolutely beautiful, innit? It just looks so bloody clean. Now, I know a lot of people don't like modern houses, and that's fine. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes, but you got to admit, there's been a solid amount of work put into this, and the end result is absolutely fantastic. Oh, and I've just noticed them sliding doors there as well. I absolutely bloody love that effect. I think Ruby did something similar on her build last week, and that looked bloody spot on as well. Vix, you've absolutely killed it with this one. Everything from the exterior to the interior. Yeah, absolutely top notch this. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the honourable mention. Now then, we've come to that point in the video where we see who's at number one. And who could it be? More importantly, what could it be? Well, if you guess Nuck's Blackthumb's Vertibird, then you'd be 100% bang on the money. This thing is quite simply mind-blowing. How do you even come up with these builds, Nucks? The way that you use items to create stuff that isn't in the game is, honestly, I don't know how you do it. I always think to myself when I look at your builds, yeah, obviously there's quite a lot of merges, but how do you know what order to merge them, if that makes any sense? This must have taken so much planning and so much time, and you know what? I applaud you for your dedication. Everything about this is just cool as shit, and I'm going to use my favourite word here, ingenuitive. And I've just noticed the rotor blades as well. You've even offset them like a proper helicopter. Fair play, mate. Fair play. What an absolute belter of a creation you've come up with here. To steal one of Sweet Roll's words, it's absolutely stellar. And on top of the build as well, the way that you filmed it, you've put effort into that as well. You probably put more effort into filming the buddy thing than I put into, a full camp tutorial video. Like I say, you've got to respect the dedication. Nucks, this build was hands down incredible. I absolutely bloody love it. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number one spot. If I still had my aneurysm meter knocking around, this would be a 5 out of 5. To everyone that entered this week, thank you so much. It was a really difficult one, and I wouldn't have liked to have judged it myself. Every single camp that was put into the competition was, it was bloody well done. So thank you again for entering. And please, keep them coming. Even if you didn't get into the top 5, it's you guys keeping the building community alive. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to Onwisai for judging the competition this week. Trust me when I say it isn't bloody easy, and I think he's done an absolutely fantastic job. So as I said before, please, head on over to his channel and show him some love. It'd be much bloody appreciated. As ever, I'd like to say a massive thank you to all my Patreons and channel members. The extra support is much appreciated. If that's something that you guys are interested in, the links are below in the description. I've also got my merch down there and all my other socials as well. Anyhow, it was just say, North, I'll love you and leave you, and I'll catch you next one.